Batman. What a legendary character. He has been everywhere. Comics, shows, movies, and the subject matter of today, video games.
Excellent.
Of course, with any popular character, games are always going to be made about them.
That's the way.
Before 2009, Batman's history in the world of gaming was a bit of a mixed one. He had some decent games in the NES SEGA Genesis days, but nothing really groundbreaking. Once the late 90s came around, however, this is where the quality of his games would really fall off a cliff. At best, these games were meh, and at worst, well, they were horrible.
Batman. Zaz. It's my turn now, Batman.
What the hell was that?
I still remember watching the DVD of The Dark Knight. Do you remember those days where there used to be ads before you could watch the film on a DVD? Ah, terrible times. And seeing a trailer for a brand new Batman game, Batman Arkham Asylum.
God, okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. Everybody stay calm.
After seeing this trailer, Arkham Asylum was the one game I wanted to play more than anything else.
Give it to me! Give it to me! Give it to me! Give it to me! Just give it!
Did you know though that this was originally going to be a Dark Knight movie tie-in game made by EA, as they had the license for Batman games at the time. They also made the Batman Begins game.
So, tell me about the rabbits.
However, they lost the license back to Warner Bros. And then it was given to the British studio Rocksteady Studios, who were given a crack at making a Batman game. I still find the name of Rocksteady quite funny, naming them after one of the villains in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's just funny.
Will you look at that thing? Looks just like one of your old girlfriends, only prettier.
And once Rocksteady was given the license, the rest is history. When August 25th, 2009 rolled around, Arkham Asylum quickly gained notoriety as one of the greatest superhero games of all time. 14 years later, to say Arkham Asylum is held in higher esteem is putting it lightly. It's no secret, this is a great game. Batman AA, wow, that sounds like a car insurance company. I should state right off the bat, I'm playing the Return to Arkham version on my PS5. It is a pretty good port, even if the texture pop-ins and some of the faces are a bit odd at times. Like Batman's, for example. He looks like he's been cutting onions and he's trying to hold back the tears.
Come here, you. It's raw. It's...
I mean, we all know Arkham Asylum is a great game, but what makes it one of the best comic book, DC, and Batman games of all time? Well, before we start, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell for all new content. Well, let's grab our Bat cookies and find out.
Batman, like when we get to the Bat Cave, could I get a little snack?
Yes, Shaggy, we'll all have a snack. Bat milk and cookies for everyone.
Yes, that was actually a clip in Scooby-Doo once. This is Batman Arkham Asylum.
Let's go, boy!
As we all know with me by now, thank you all again for nearly 400 subscribers. I really appreciate everyone for the support.
I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts.
There is no better starting block than the plot, and boy is this plot a true treat. So as always, spoilers ahead everybody. Arkham Asylum begins with Batman taking the Joker back to Arkham Asylum, as he held the mayor hostage at Gotham City Hall. This just dawned on me. Batman must use a lot of fuel taking criminals and villains back and forth to Arkham, especially with the fuel prices these days. And I can tell you that Batman bill does not do a great amount of fuel to the gallon. Arriving at Arkham, Batman is greeted by the Arkham staff and Warden Quincy Sharp, who at the same time is also running for mayor, a true American hero. Funny enough, at the same time, a fire at Blackgate Prison brought most of Joker's gang to Arkham Asylum.
What a coincidence.
Batman says he's going with Joker and accompanies the security guards to the holding cells, as he feels something is wrong.
Sussy bata.
Arriving at the cells and meeting up with Commissioner Gordon, Batman confesses to Gordon that he feels like Joker surrendered without a fight and he feels he is up to something. And literally within seconds of him saying that, Batman is proven right.
Oh no. Not again.
Joker breaks free thanks to Harley Quinn and escapes Batman's grasp. Taking down some of the thugs and chasing after Joker, Joker gives a haunting message saying on the video screen that he's in control of the asylum and Batman is not going anywhere that he does not want to. And Batman's response is something along the line of,
"From this moment on, none of you are safe."
Working his way through more of Joker's crew, a trail of killed Arkham guards, but Batman has to take a quick detour to the patient pacification chamber to save a guard from Victor Zsasz. After giving Zsasz a lovely concussion, Batman gets a message from Harley Quinn, who's taken Warden Quincy Sharp hostage. Also, Harley in a nurse outfit. Great stuff.
Hey, lovely, jubbly.
After saving some more Arkham staff in a Joker toxin-filled room, Batman finally catches up with the Joker. Before he can do anything, Joker lets loose a Titan mutated prisoner. Get used to seeing these guys, by the way, because they'll be all over this game.
You know, your tests, D-ball, it's just basic stuff.
Batman takes down the big lad, but before Joker can escape, he offers Batman a free shot to knock him down into the abyss below to stop all the madness and the destruction he will cause throughout the entire night. Batman considers it, preps a batarang, but ultimately decides against it, allowing Joker to escape. I absolutely love this part. Joker knows full well that Batman is not going to hit him, but he still allows him that one chance to stop him and kill him and put him down for good. But ultimately Batman decides against it, because in Batman's words exactly, once he starts killing his own villains, he will not be able to stop himself. He kills the Joker, what's stopping him from killing Two-Face, Penguin, Mr. Freeze, Clayface, etc, etc.
But if I do that, if I allow myself to go down into that place, I'll never come back.
The theme of Batman's no-kill rule is a theme that goes right into Arkham City. What a great introduction to this game. Dare I say, near perfect? It sets up a brilliant, dangerous scenario Batman has found himself in, a foreshadowing of some of the major villains we'll be facing off against, and what Joker's ultimate plan is. A fantastic starting point.
That's really impressive. Whoa. Whoa, just... Whoa. Bravo. What?
Joker then broadcasts a video message to Batman showing that Frank Balls, a member of the Arkham security team, who was seen at the start of the game escorting Joker to his cell, is actually on Joker's payroll and has taken hostage of Commissioner Gordon.
Traitor!
Joker warns Batman that if he's caught following him, then Gordon will be executed. Making use of his detective mode at the cells, Batman is able to isolate a alcoholic vapor trail left by Frank Ball's bourbon whiskey. Wow. Batman is so rich, he has technology to find someone from the alcohol they've consumed in the air. Wow, I don't even know what to say. Bruce, how rich are you? Seriously.
Here comes the money.
Here we go.
Money talk. Here comes the money.
Following the trail, Harley tries to stop Batman momentarily by dropping an elevator on him. Obviously, it does not work.
Women.
Taking down some more armed goons, Batman finds Frank Balls dead, realizing Joker must have worked out how he was tracking him and ultimately decided to kill Frank.
Jesus.
At the same point, the Riddler intercepts Batman's transmissions, which he uses to talk to Oracle, and begins tasking him with riddles across Arkham Asylum for him to solve. I will get back to you later, sir.
Yes, it is I, Edward Nigma, the Riddler, and more importantly, your intellectual superior.
I hate him so much.
Solving the first riddle, Batman starts to make his way out of intensive treatment, but he overhears on Jack Ryder's broadcast announcing that Joker has threatened to set off bombs across Gotham if any law enforcement is seen approaching Arkham Asylum.
Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
On the outside of the island, God, imagine where the funding goes to this place. Batman defeats some more thugs attacking the Batmobile, where he also finds a pipe tobacco trail left by Gordon. He gears himself up with some explosive gel from the trunk of the Batmobile. Making his way to the medical facility to save Gordon, he saves a few medical staff and doctors, including Dr. Young, a key name we will come back to later. Batman starts to make his way down to the lower levels of the medical area, and he encounters Scarecrow, where he is affected by Scarecrow's fear toxin gas, causing him to go through some horrible nightmare hallucinations, such as finding Gordon's dead body in a hallway and going into the morgue with reanimated corpses of his parents. It would not be a Batman game without being reminded that his parents are dead.
Masquerading as Gotham's least interesting socialite is one hell of a cover story. The dead parents are just icing on the cake.
The Caped Crusader goes for a nightmare gigantic Scarecrow hallucination and defeats him using a bat signal. With the effects of the fear gas wearing off, Batman wakes up inside the morgue. Realizing that Gordon is still alive, he continues the trail for him, eventually coming across Harley, who is holding Gordon hostage again. Taking down some henchmen patrolling the room, he manages to knock out Harley and reach Gordon safely. Gordon informs Batman there is something in the middle of the room in one of the chambers. Who is it? Bane! Poor Bane is strung up by some restraints and hooked up to a machine, draining him of his venom, the thing that provides Bane's strength and mass. Bane tells Batman that Dr. Young drained the venom from him for use for a project. Before he can reveal more, Joker gives Bane some Titan, powering him up, and he starts to attack Batman. I find it funny how minutes ago Bane was like, "Cut me down, Batman, please help me." Now he's like, "Nah, I'm gonna throw you through a wall."
bugger.
After the fight, Gordon and Batman reunite, but Bane does his best Kool-Aid Man impression.
Oh yeah!
He grabs Batman and promises to break him. Bane, buddy, the bat breaking thing is a bit old by now, but Batman replies with a truly badass line.
No, Bane. This time I break you.
Summoning the Batmobile, which drives Bane into the sea.
Bitch can't even swim.
Gordon goes back to Gotham while Batman heads to a secret Batcave underneath Arkham. He put this cave together years ago. Is there nothing this man cannot pay for?
No.
Using the computer, he learns that Dr. Young has been researching the Venom drug fueling Bane and has managed to create Titan, a similar but more powerful version of Venom. This makes Batman realize that Joker plans to use the Titan for something truly horrific, to create an army of 1,000 Banes. A true horrible worst case scenario.
I'm in danger!
Though I have to ask, what is Joker gonna do after he's conquered Gotham with all these Banes? I don't know, afterwards they seem to be all going to the unemployment line.
You're fine.
While climbing through the main sewer junction, Oracle, Barbara Gordon, aka formerly Batgirl, finds out via Dr. Young's emails that a mysterious Jack White has been supplying her with loads of money for her Titan research, only for Young to find out that it was actually Joker paying her. And put a block on her account. Joker, understandably, does not take no very well, and sends some friendly emails back to Dr. Young and says he will come and get what he is paid for.
I shouldn't have said that. I should not have said that.
Batman then enters Arkham Mansion to find Dr. Young's notes on her research. He manages to find them and destroys them, going for another Scarecrow encounter.
Back off, you spooky bitch.
The Dark Knight then finds Zsasz holding Dr. Young hostage in Warden Sharpie's office. At knife point, he manages to knock out Zsasz again and rescues her. The shaken up Doctor tells Batman Joker has a secret lab in the botanical gardens. Before she can retrieve the security codes from Warden Sharpie's safe, she triggers some secret explosives hidden within the safe, which kills her and knocks Batman out. Waking up, Batman resumes his pursuit of Harley Quinn. He chases her to the penitentiary, which has been overrun by the truly crazy inmates of Arkham.
Are you crazy? Are you out of your mind?
On his way to rescuing the warden, Bats encounters Poison Ivy. Ivy begs Batman to save her plants, but Batman tells Ivy he has more important things to do than worry about some plants, and he's not a very pro-plant supporter. Finding Warden Sharp in the security tower, they are both temporarily locked in before Batman breaks them both out again. Harley then passes by Ivy's cell and cuts her a break and lets her out. Joker frees the rest of the crazed inmates in the penitentiary on Batman. Getting Warden Sharp's passkey, Batman uses it in his sequencer, allowing him to disable the electrical barriers in his way.
That feels so much better.
Women.
Hey, did you guys know DSP was in this game? Nor me. This is what happens when he stops getting donations.
That's what you get. That's what you fucking get, bitch.
Batman follows Harley to a large room with an electrified floor, which he uses to try and fry Batman. He defeats Harley's thugs and locks her up, though Harley does try to give Batman one surprise attack, which obviously doesn't work because, you know, Harley's an idiot.
You stupid.
Batman learns Joker has a secret Titan production facility within the botanical gardens. He heads over to the gardens, where Joker flees with cases of Titan, leaving behind two of his Titan-powered-up henchmen to take down Batman. Batman takes down the two powered-up thugs and destroys the facility. Gain the line launcher in the process to help him across ravines. Batman now needs the help of Poison Ivy, as the Titan formula is made up by genetically engineered plants. Ivy is not too keen to help Batman, but Batman has a way of convincing her easily. She informs him that the only way to create an antidote is to use some rare spores which can only be found in the sewer, directly inside the lair of Killer Croc.
Bollocks.
He wants her to go back to her cell, or she will be next.
Go back to your cell, or I'll be after you next.
While leaving the gardens, Joker gives an angry Ivy some Titan, causing tons of mutated plants to pop up all around the island. Finding out from Cash how to enter Croc's lair, Batman heads back to intensive treatment. Before he can reach Croc, he encounters Scarecrow one more time, fighting through his nightmare visions. I just love Scarecrow's reactions to fighting through the fear toxin.
How are you doing this? You've ingested enough toxins to drive 10 men insane. What are you? I'm Batman.
He flees to an elevator, planning to drop his fear toxin into the Gotham City water supply. Batman chases after him.
Come back
here, you big monkey!
As Scarecrow stands on the edge, ready to drop the fear toxin into the water, a wild croc appears out of nowhere and grabs him, dragging him into the water. Though Batman is able to hit his shock collar with a batarang, forcing him to retreat, Scarecrow must make a tasty snack for Croc. Batman enters Croc's lair and gathers enough spores, while narrowly escaping Croc thanks to some explosive gel. You could say Croc was really falling for Batman there.
Brother, this guy stinks!
Making his way to the Batcave, he uses the spores to create an antidote, though it doesn't make a lot. But just as he says that, Ivy's plants attack the cave. Batman then learns that Joker intends to contaminate Gotham's water supply, but instead of the fear toxin, it's with his Titan production. He manages to stop this by disabling 3 pumping stations guarded by Joker's men. Once that is dealt with, Batman heads to the gardens to confront Ivy, who summons a colossal Titan plan. I feel like we're in Shadow of the Colossus right now.
Look at the size of that thing.
Bonding with the plan is not enough to stop Batman though. He defeats her and heads out of the destroyed gardens, where he learns Joker's big party that he's been teasing the entire night is about to begin. Inside the visitor center, Batman is hit with an exploding bomb, but like most things, it's not enough to put him down.
You clearly don't know who you're talking to, so let me clue you in. I am not in danger. I am the danger.
Even after all that, he takes down some more thugs and some more Titan up powered goons. Once they're all defeated, Joker reveals that he has Gordon tied up by some rope. He pulls out a gun filled with Titan ready to shoot Gordon, but Batman jumps in the way, blocking the shot. Oh no. But Batman, however, resists the change from the Titan. Joker does not take this well and gets really furious, ranting how Batman has ruined his big night, and then shoots himself through the jaw with his Titan gun. Outside, we go to some choppers surrounding Arkham. A mutated Joker climbs out from inside the building, holding Batman in his hands. Batman injects himself with the antidote to stop the Titan taking hold of him. He takes down some thugs and manages to pull the mutated Joker down from a high point. He still climbs out, barely harmed at all. He gloats how he's finally going to win and finally going to be Batman. But Batman, in an absolutely badass move, sprays explosive gel over his knuckles and punches Joker in the face, detonating it. Like, holy cow, what a fucking badass. This knocks Joker unconscious. Afterwards, Joker and the other Titan thugs return to normal, and the asylum is back under control. Batman is informed Two-Face is attacking Gotham, and flies away into the Batwing. Post-credits, we get a crate marked Titan floating around in the Gotham Sea, with either Croc, Bane, or Scarecrow grabbing onto it, and that ends the events of Arkham Asylum.
Oh yes! Oh yes! Oh yes! Oh yes! Oh yes!
So, Arkham Asylum's story, how does it hold up? I mean, I love this story. It's a hugely detailed and rich story. This is just such a treat for any Batman fan, comic book fan, or hell, I would even say you don't need to know anything about Batman to enjoy this, besides maybe the basics. I honestly wish I could go back to 2009 playing this for the first time. The feeling of being one of the most dangerous and intelligent superheroes ever written is just such an amazing experience to play. But Batman is placed in such a hostile, dangerous environment where everything and anything is against him. What I also appreciate, there are moments also where Batman has doubts whether he can stop Joker. He never really lets it show, but I like there's a little bit of doubt within him. But Batman being locked in an asylum, it reminds me of that bit in the Watchmen film.
I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me.
In this game, he's always on the move. He always has to change his approach and adapt to all the dangers that Arkham have to offer. And thus it creates an unpredictable story, which you never know where it's going to go next. And I think that is honestly brilliant. It's a genius idea to lock Batman away in the very place he's put so many of his foes away. The pacing is so smooth, but it goes at such a breakneck pace, rarely having a moment to slow down due to the constant escalating events within Arkham. But the details are just so brilliant, building up each encounter with different villains, details of Joker's plan coming to the surface, and how it all ties together so neatly. The story was written by Paul Didi, a name you may recognize from Batman the Animated Series writing team. He does a masterful job with the writing duty here. He webs such a compelling story that rivals some of his greatest work in that show, honestly. Every villain has a purpose in this story. Joker and Harley Quinn are obviously the main villains, but then there's Poison Ivy, who gives Batman the location of the plant spores, and later is given the very same Titan. Zsasz is really there to showcase Arkham's crazed unleashed side. Bane and his venom are used to make the Titan formula. Scarecrow puts Batman's fears to the test and makes him face some horrible demons from his past, mostly due to his dead parents and that moment in Crime Alley that created Batman and killed Bruce Wayne. A beautiful scene, by the way. And finally, Killer Croc is introduced right at the start, and and you need to go to his lair to find the plant spores to make the antidote. They all contribute to the main plot and serve a purpose. They're not just there for no reason. Writing all those characters at once is no easy feat, but Dini nails it. The island itself is one of the biggest characters. Its details of the inmates' stories behind its walls and how grim the whole asylum is. It really expands on the Batman mythos, its very history and how it goes from a controlled area to a complete hellhole in just such a short amount of time, kind of showcasing why Arkham really doesn't work. Batman and Joker's relationship is one of the highlights of the game. It's so well damn written. Joker always has something up his sleeve, and Batman, being the clever guy he is, has to constantly adapt and overcome them, as well as all the villains around him. He's basically one man versus an entire army, and yet you hear Joker getting more and more angry as the game goes along. A plan he spent so long creating being undone by just one man, but not just any man, the most dangerous man ever. The best way I can describe this game really is like a graphic novel come to life, a beautiful nightmare story brought into the world of gaming. This was really a first for a Batman game's plot to be put against some of the greatest Batman films, and say it is the same level of quality of writing and character work. I would put this up as one of the greatest Batman stories ever told, honestly. Hell, to me, this is as good of a story as the plot of the Dark Knight film. Oh yeah, it's that damn good. I mean, there is a reason why so many people, including myself, call this one of the greatest comic book video games of all time. Arkham was just such a perfect setting, and I would love to see a film on this very story. James Gunn is a great Batman plot right here. Dini and Rocksteady knocked it out of the park with this story. If you don't play Arkham Asylum for any other reason, play it for the story. You will not be disappointed, I promise. Now we'll move on to AA's gameplay. That sounds like I'm talking about a game about John Cena.
Are you sure about that?
Arkham is broken up into several different gameplay sections. As you travel throughout Arkham Asylum, you'll need to utilize Batman's skills and gadgets effectively to stop the Joker. Batman Arkham Asylum is very much a Metroid Castlevania type of game, where you need to revisit certain areas of the game itself later on with upgrades and gadgets you obtain along the way. I love these types of games. Do not get me wrong, I love an open world game when it's done right, but this game just nails it so well. The backtracking is not too bad either, and being able to open up new areas with your skills and abilities is really a satisfying feeling.
Look at the power I've gained.
Let's talk about the combat first. Arkham Asylum's combat is quite unique. It's a free-flow combat system that's almost rhythm-based in gameplay. It's all about chaining attacks together, flowing them together effortlessly, and keeping up the pace. And it still works so well after all these years, and it fits Batman's fighting style to a T. It was such a great combat system that everyone after this game basically copied it, with very mixed results. So let's break it down. FYI, I am playing this on the PlayStation 5, so the button inputs may be different on different consoles or on PC. To start off with, you have your basic attack with square. Feel free to add the Adam West Batman punch lines here. Then you have your counter with triangle, which allows Batman to gain a spider sense over his head while countering attacks. A bat sense, maybe? You also have the cape stun option with circle, which is great for dealing with knife thugs and then attacking them. Finally, an evade option by double tapping X allows Batman to jump over the enemies or dodge out the way at the last minute.
You can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
There are times, however, where combat will not be useful. This is where the Predator/stealth gameplay comes into effect. Batman will need to be stealthy to take down thugs one by one silently without being detected. You have a lot of different options to play with. There's silent takedowns, hiding behind thugs and knocking them out peacefully, pulling them off ledges, glide kicking them from great heights, corner takedowns, and my favorite, the inverted takedown, which needs to be bought on the upgrade system, but my god, it is so fun and well worth getting. You need to wait for thugs to walk under gargoyles, which Batman can perch on top of, and as they walk under it at the right time, you can hang them up by a cable on the leg. Imagine being one of those thugs and Batman doing that to you. God, that is just a terrifying image. As you take down more thugs, slowly but surely they'll become more and more scared and act more out of fear, shooting wildly and walking around more nervous and anxious. I love these encounters. It really shows how clever Batman is in these situations, but it also shows how much fear he strikes into every one of these thugs. He is a true force of fear and power. In this scenario, he is truly a nightmare crusader.
Oh, scary. Oh, shiver my timbers.
Before we talk about the detective mode, let's talk about the gadgets and upgrades. As you go throughout the game, you earn XP from beating up thugs, solving riddles, and beating bosses. You can use the XP to upgrade Batman's combat skills, stealth moves, gadget upgrades, and more. Let's break it down for the combat. One such example is the combat throw, where Batman throws the thugs over his head using square and X together. It is so funny, especially throwing them against walls and off the sides of balconies. You get a quick takedown using circle and triangle. These These look absolutely brutal. The sounds of the bones snapping is both painful and so satisfying. Batman logic. I won't kill you, but I will cripple you. He even channels his inner Kurt Angle and puts on an ankle lock. Finally, you can use batarangs and the Ultra Bat Core within combat itself. The combat is so satisfying and so fun, and it only gets better as the series goes along. Fantastic stuff. There are also normal batarangs to use right from the start. These can be thrown to stun enemies and interact with objects, including switches to open doors. Then there is the explosive gel, which can be detonated by remote control and used to break down weak walls or to set traps for enemies. The Bat Core can grab onto objects and allows them to be pulled down, such as ventilation doors. Later on, it can be upgraded to the Ultra Bat Claw, which can be used to pull down stronger walls. There's also the cryptographic sequencer, try saying that 5 times over, that allows Batman to disable the electrical security fields. This is done by using the joysticks to line up the line patterns and gain entry, allowing you to lock new areas. There's also the line launcher, which allows Batman to travel over ravines and pits, making it to the other side. Well, the great thing about all these gadgets is most of them can be upgraded later on. An auto-detonating explosive gel, for example, that explodes when an enemy gets nearby. You can also get the selective detonation one too, which allows you to explode a specific gel patch to detonate at that one location. Double and triple batarangs that can target multiple enemies at once. A sonic batarang, one of my personal favorites, that sends out a loud noise bringing enemies nearby to its location, and later on it can be upgraded to detonate. Shocking stuff. A remote control batarang that can be steered around to basically take out multiple enemies at once. I never use this one. It's very clumsy and the controls feel already awkward to line up a perfect shot with it. But the cryptographic sequencer, you can get a range amplifier to allow you to access security boxes at greater distance, a power amplifier that allows you to get into them more easily, and finally you can upgrade Batman's armor for more protection. All these gadgets and upgrades really make you feel useful, and they're all needed to progress through Arkham in some shape or form, and it really does make you feel like, nope, I'm not going to say it. It really gives you a lot of options, making you this huge powerful hero with a massive toolkit at his disposal. Before I move on, I have to talk about the pictures they use in the upgrade area. They look great, but somewhat really funny. These ones, for example, make Batman look pissed off that someone had the last protein bar at Wayne Manor. This is a great time to talk about the detective mode. This mode is used for pretty much nearly everything within Arkham Asylum. It's used to solve riddles, for stealth encounters, to track certain people, detect weak walls to use the explosive gel on, highlight thugs with weapons, and so much more. All I would say is I hope you love the color blue, because you spend a good 70% of the game in this mode. Granted, it is very useful, but it would have been a good idea to have an option to change the color of it. Maybe like a nice red or yellow, rather than just dark blue the entire game. But it is extremely useful. In AA, there are a number of different side activities you can do. One of the most interesting one is the Amadeus Arkham Chronicles. These are symbols that can be scanned, each one giving you a voice audio, journaling his life and talking about the construction of Arkham itself. As you collect more of these, the voice slowly changes from Amadeus Arkham to a very different person. After collecting them all, it turns out to be Warden Quincy Sharp, as in his words, he's continuing Arkham's work and has become obsessed with the spirit of Arkham itself. When you read more of his file, you find out he has a personality disorder. Much like Two-Face, he's kind of split into two, one wanting to cure Gotham itself, and the other wanting to erase all evil within Arkham. In particular, from these audios, he has a real hatred towards the Joker. Man, these are a really good listen to, and they get extremely dark at points. It also shows how vile one human being can become, while at the same point seemingly not being aware of it. Disturbing, creepy, but it fits so well with the setting of Arkham. Later on, Batman can return to the Arkham Mansion to discover a secret chamber within the Warden's office. It's a really cool detail on the far left wall that shows a detail of Gotham City, where the Warden has proposed to take up a large portion of the Gotham City and section it off, creating Arkham City. What a great little detail to set up the next game. Then there are the Riddler challenges. Of course, there are the Riddler trophies, which are little green question mark statues scattered all over the island. Sometimes they are out in the open, sometimes hidden in more difficult access places, which is why I really recommend getting most of the upgrades before handling these. There are also riddles, more or less cryptic clues describing specific locations, objects, or people of interest within the Batman universe. To solve these, you have to hold down the detective mode button and it will scan them. These are quite fun to do, to be honest. There are Joker teeth, which are an absolute bastard to find all these. There's nothing more frustrating than going back to an area to find them, only to find there's one Joker teeth where you have no idea where they are. Also, does Joker just have crates and crates of these teeth? I don't know, he just just has loads of them, and I would imagine he just got them shipped on the island just to really annoy Batman. There are also a lot of interview tapes. These are little audio tapes containing patient interviews with some of the villains of Arkham, giving insight into some of their characteristics, the Spirit of Arkham messages, which I've already talked about, and finally Riddler maps. Little maps to show you the location of different challenge items such as the Riddler trophies, and they place all sorts of question marks on the game's map. To be honest, most of the collectibles you can get throughout the entire game as you go along it. I feel like Arkham Asylum is the only Arkham game that gets the Riddler challenges right, because after this game they go way overboard with the amount of these. But one detail I love is how Riddler throughout the entire thing goes from being really cocky and arrogant, that Batman's not going to be able to collect all these and solve all his riddles, but towards the end he gets more and more irate and frustrated with Batman, even calling him out saying, "Are you cheating on the internet?" For reference, yes Riddler, I was. Because some of these are hidden in the most weirdest places. This ends after you collect the final one with his location being revealed and Batman transmits it to the Gotham police where he's arrested. As you collect more of these, you unlock more bios, character models, and also combat and stealth maps. Speaking of the challenge mode, Arkham Asylum has a series of challenge maps separate from the main game story. These are a little different. The main focus of these maps are specific goals, such as eliminating waves of enemy in combat and gaining points to beat high scores. Certain high scores unlock medals, and subduing patrolling guards while using stealth. The difference between the stealth and the combat ones is that the stealth ones require you to do certain tasks to earn medals, such as taking down a thug with a glide kick, pulling them off ledges, using explosive gel in multiple places at once, etc, etc. You get the idea. You can also play as the Joker. Yeah, I know, right? This for the longest time was a PlayStation 3 exclusive. However, with the return to Arkham games, you can finally play these, and it's so much fun. What's cool is Joker has his own combat abilities, weapons, such as a handgun, exploding chattering teeth, and x-ray glasses that allow him to see guards through walls. That is just so cool that they put so much effort into this. These challenge maps are really fun. A bit on the tough side, especially the later ones, the stealth ones in particular, but they're worth a go for sure. Gameplay of Arkham Asylum is just really great fun. It offers so much variety and it's just an absolute blast to play through. So let's talk about the presentation. Man, Arkham Asylum looks still so good. It's a beautiful looking game. It nails the dark, sinister tone and the horrific environment of Arkham to a T. Whether it's walking down the corridors, traveling around the island itself, and looking at all the details on the walls. Graphically, it makes Arkham look like a prison version of hell. While I do think the Return to Arkham port is solid enough, I do think some of the faces look a little worse compared to the original. Batman in particular. That being said, the models of all the characters look incredible. Some of my favourite designs are Joker, Killer Croc, Scarecrow, and Poison Ivy. All look excellent and stunning to look at. Batman's costume too is just so perfect. It's one of my favourite Batman attires.
I gotta tell you, it was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
One of the few things graphically that has not really aged well is the mouth animations. In the pre-rendered cutscenes, they look absolutely fine, but in-game, man, they look really off. There are times when the lines being delivered do not match the mouth animations at all. They just look so creepy, something out of a Muppet show. Thankfully, this does get better in the next game, so it's really just a small minor complaint. One of the most genius ideas was bringing back Kevin Conroy, Mark Hamill, and Arlene Sorkin as Batman, Joker, and Harley Quinn respectively. Even though this game is not part of Batman the Animated Series, you kind of could imagine it being a part of that show. Kevin Conroy, in my opinion, is the definitive voice of Batman. Whenever I read Batman's dialogue in a comic, this is the voice I hear. He has some absolutely great lines in this game.
There's no escape, Joker. I will find you.
This version of Batman is more darker and more gruntier than the original animated version, but with Kevin's voice at the helm, it's still so iconic and so brilliant to listen to. I could listen to this man voicing a sat-nav and never get bored. Rest in peace, you legend. Mark Hamill, like Conroy, is the definitive Joker voice. I get the feeling from the dialogue they really let Mark go wild here. He has the most dialogue by far out of any character in this game. A wise choice, to be honest. While this version of Joker is more darker, he still has so many great funny lines, some of which actually made me die of laughter the first time hearing them.
What a blabbermouth! Spoiling the surprise.
Be quiet.
Oh, am I getting to you? Am I? Good.
The chemistry between Conroy and Mark Hamill make their Joker and Batman situations really immensely brilliant. And because they're so talented and know these characters so well, they can adjust their moods to really reflect this version of Batman and Joker perfectly in any situation. They're the masters of voicing these two, and their back and forth banter between the two is some of the best dialogue in the entire game.
I can take it. I can take anything you throw at me, Bats. You can't beat me. I'm actually going to win. Ready for the next round?
Always.
What?
I'll never let you win. Never.
I swear Arlene Sorkin's Harley Quinn has not aged at all. She sounds just as good as she did in the show. Harley is so adorable in this game, even if she is completely batshit crazy. But again, like the other two, the definitive voice of this character.
You know, Bats, I always thought there was a spark between us. Well, now there is.
I gotta give extra credit to Steve Bloom though. His Killer Croc is just so out of this world amazing. This poor man must have killed his voice, but the combination of the design of Croc and combined with that voice, man, it's the scariest version of Croc by far, no contest.
I've got your scent, Batman. I will hunt you down. A toy collar won't stop me from killing you, Batman. I'll rip you apart, eat your bones.
Scarecrow is also fantastic too. Much like Croc, Scarecrow's design combined with the voice by Dino Andrade makes it a match made in heaven, or in this case, the stuff of nightmares.
My little bat, you're in my world now.
Taser Valenza as Poison Ivy does a brilliant job. She gives Ivy almost like a motherly kind of voice, mixed with a crazed plant-obsessed lady. It works wonders for the character.
I told you to go to your cell.
I was a fool. I thought the plants were in pain. Now I realize they were evolving, growing stronger.
Question though, would Ivy and the crazy vegan teacher get along well?
Eat your vegetables!
This version of Bane is voiced by Fred Tatasciore. Bane needs a really threatening, powerful, and almost bully-esque voice to him. Fred nails it to an absolute T.
I will break you, Batman. Then the Bruja.
It's nice to hear a version of Bane that's not inspired by Tom Hardy's version, even though AA came out before The Dark Knight Rises. Not every version needs to sound like this. I will break you, Batman. That was awful. Finally, Tom Kane as Commissioner Gordon and Quincy Sharp, and even the spirit of Amadeus Arkham is fantastic stuff. Tom Kane really has a great amount of range to his voices, going from a haunting spirit to an untrustworthy warden to, on the other end of the spectrum, one of Batman's closest allies.
Long night, Jim.
Joker invades City Hall and holds the mayor hostage, leaving it to me to juggle SWAT teams, the media, and you. Yeah, it's been a hell of a night.
The voice cast is outstanding and everyone does a fantastic job. The music in Arkham Asylum is top notch. It fits so well with the dark setting of Arkham. But when the music needs to get more energetic and booming, that's where the boss fight songs come in. But even when you are walking around the island, it's quiet, foreboding, not knowing what's around each corner. I think the music is very similar in some ways to Michael Keaton's Batman films. They would suit in those films really well, I think. Some of my favorite songs are the Menu theme song, which is iconic at this point, Invisible Predator music, Bane's boss fight, Killer Croc's lair theme, and the final confrontation music with Joker. The game's only real negative is the boss fights. They're kind of a letdown compared to the rest of the game. You know the Titan boss fight you fight at the start of the game? The one where you have to throw a batarang when he charges at you? Got that pattern in your head? Good, because that is pretty much nearly every boss fight in Arkham Asylum. All the Titan bosses are like this. Bane's boss fight is pretty much the exact same thing, just with the addition of him throwing a bit of debris at you. Poison Ivy's one is a little bit visually different, but again, very similar. Dodge, batarang, beat up thugs, explosive gel, repeat. And don't even get me started on the Titan Joker boss fight at the end. Dodge his claw swipes, beat up his thugs, pull him down with the Ultra Bat Claw, repeat. Pretty disappointing. The only two fights in this game I kind of like is the Killer Croc and Scarecrow encounters, and I don't even know if you would really count these as boss fights, but I think they're brilliant. The Scarecrow encounters are just such a visual treat. You basically need to make it to the bat signal without Scarecrow spotting you with his gaze, otherwise he will swat you like a fly. The first time playing these, I was amazed by the image of Batman hiding from a giant Scarecrow. Pure nightmare fuel. Speaking of nightmare, this brings me to Killer Croc. This one you need to go around his lair finding enough spores to make an antidote for the Titan formula. However, you need to be careful walking on the platforms over the water, because if you make too much noise, you will alert Croc to your location. He's not that difficult to take down. All he needs is a batarang to his electric collar, which will knock him back into the water. Once you get enough spores, however, Croc will go into full hunter mode, which leads to him chasing Batman to a dead end. But Batman, the genius that he is, has come prepared with some explosive gel on the floor, which takes Croc out, sending him down to the pit below. It reminds me a lot of the Resident Evil 2 remake version of Mr. X, where he's constantly chasing you throughout the entire first portion. Very similar and very tense the first time you play it. It's a brilliant encounter and one of the best moments in the game, hands down. These are the only two boss fights I would consider to be great, to be honest. The rest are really disappointing. Arkham Asylum is truly a legendary game. I cannot state that enough. It has one of the best enduring legacies and makes it a classic and a breakout game for superhero games in general. The only real negative I have about this game is the boss fights. Everything else, man, it's just so stellar. It was a brilliant time replaying this. If you've never played this game before, what the hell are you doing? Go play it and you will have an amazing experience jumping into the boots and the cowl of Batman. An amazing story, groundbreaking combat, beautiful visuals, an all-star voice cast, brilliant soundtrack, and a wonderful comic book world come to life. What a game. And I cannot wait to come back to this series at some point to talk about Arkham City. Thank you all for watching. Hope you have a great day. Now before I go, do you know what Batman's favourite cereal is? Snap, crackle, and pop.